What's going on, everyone? So today we're in my car. Why? Because it's the most convenient, right? All right. Yeah, like my new shades. I'm feeling. Or to break down Road to 66 or Project 66, whichever one. Haven't made my mind up yet. But I like both of them. Now, for this first month, I'm going to test this weekend. But this first month, this is the breakdown of the exercises I've done. I pretty much did these in some variation of these the whole month.
But before we get into what happens right after you finish the season, you relax, you enjoy. As you can see right here, I was with family and friends, having fun, trying to break that record. We went to a roller coaster, enjoyed ourselves, in San Diego at this point. It's funny because we tried to have a serious face and it just got too crazy for us, right? From there, we're gonna have to eat. That's for sure. One thing about me, I'm gonna eat. So that's one thing I did a good amount of actually. Uh, but training, even throughout the time, you want to be active. Now it doesn't have to be specific. I didn't sprint at all, but I was active. I did contrast slightly. Um, Nothing too crazy, impactful. Box jumps tend to be lighter on the knees than anything else. So I did that, and the hardest one was basketball. But I love basketball, and a little bit of boxing. I like hitting the heavy bag. Cross training is phenomenal. One thing I did focus on throughout this time was getting barefoot, a good amount of barefoot, getting in the sun. Uh, every morning, what I did, I'd work on my breathing movement. I would do my morning movement, and I'll just jog around the field, working my ankles, trying to build that foundation, right? Uh, Nose breathing, so I worked on the tape. That's one of the things I focused on in the off season. And I started building a slight foundation of sprinting by just doing stadiums. Um, One of the workouts or exercises I started throwing were floating heels with relatively heavy weight. It worked out pretty well. I'm trying to just build the foundation of the foot, make sure the ankles are stronger. And I did still have a little bit of sprain, not too crazy though. Took this time to play around with trampoline, seeing if any of these exercises would be something I can incorporate for the long run and keep them. So for the most part, that was pretty solid. But the problem was I did eat a good amount of food. Uh, the week prior, I realized I was 220 pounds, so I started adjusting my eating. This is what it looks like on me. That's the heaviest I've ever been. Of course, some of it being water weight, but I know I ate a lot. It doesn't look too bad, but remember, being too big doesn't fly. So I cut down a little bit over the week, and I was like around 213, as you can see. That was the test for the first one before I got into my training. And if you want to see the video, I posted it already. Now, after all this just general training, one thing I did realize was I had to start having pain in my knee. As you can see right there, that bump that's protruding, that's the right lower part of my patella, and it was hurting a good amount from walking to random things I was doing, even when I was hooping. And it gave me the idea, like, oh, I can slaughter, but I'm an adult, so it's not it. But that's the area that it was, and according to what I was looking at, it's probably just inflammation. We still were able to train through it, just adjusted our impact. Now, going into what I did for training, day one for training for the first month was always some type of resistance run. As you can see right here, was anaerobic capacity on the sled, and I was able to track the speed I was going, so that way week to week I can adjust. After we finish that, we'll do an Olympic lift. And relatively heavy explosive movement, like I did a sports squat uh, and then horizontal hip drive. So I wanted to still have the floating heel. I was focusing on that because I wasn't sprinting, and at this time I want to make sure I build the foundation so that I can sprint much better once I start sprinting. Now for my next day, um, I instead of doing regular lifting, I did a med ball circuit and worked on, like I said, the foundation of my ankle and feet. I did it barefoot, working on light drills, uh, did speed drills, pogos, things like that, to just work the ankle and foot complex, right? Uh, Also, I did a good amount of med ball work. Um, just working on being explosive without having to be super explosive. This is the second day, so I already did my heavier day one, and this was supposed to be my speed day, but I'm still not going fast. Uh, After a couple weeks of this, what I did, I transitioned to being inside, and I used the co-contraction. Now I'm trying to get to the point where I'm moving the limbs a little faster. Still before sprinting, but I'm still conditioning my body so that it can go relatively fast. Doing the med ball so I can be explosive. This is still around the same training day. So this is my second training day. This is just week 3 leading to week 4. Remember, I'm still trying to just build a good foundation. I have the barefoot shoes on at this point so I can build the feet up, and it's a little bit tougher, but my issues were the Achilles. So going into this, I don't want to have that issue at all, right? I'm trying to make sure I build it as much as possible in the off season, so that way in season I can have a more longevity. And then on my last day of training, because I only did 3 days, I did relatively heavy lifting with a speed or power movement to start off, and then a strength movement, right? Now, as I moved along from one week to the next, I lightened the load up so I could work on a little more speed, and I went for a snatch. But that's something I'll speak about in the following video. But yeah, the main thing was be explosive and be strong. And what I did with the heavier lift, I also did it assisted. So that way I can move a little faster coming up. Like I said, I want that floating here. I want that working. That was one of the things I focused on, and I wanted a little more volume at this point. Afterwards, I played some basketball. I used it as my plyometric day, and I justified it that way. So that way, I just didn't feel like I was just BSing. I still was doing my training, and I knew I was gonna take it away after the first month. But then I did the pool with sauna contrast to finish off and help my body recover. Because in 2 days after that, I'll be back at it for full go.
And they all covered the base of what I felt like I needed to work on to be better. Now, it doesn't mean that if you do this, you're going to be getting the same results as I'm doing, because those were to attack my limiting factors. So it all depends on what your limiting factors are, and the goal is to figure that out, right? If you need assistance with that, holler at me, hit me up. You can check out the website or even email me at championshipfit247@gmail.com or Instagram, and even on TikTok. But for the most part, this is what I'm doing, and it seems to be working for me so far. So Operation 6-6 is in full effect. Let's go. This year is going to be the year. I feel it. But I'm not only feeling it, I'm putting in the work. So join me while I put in the work. Check me out. Like, comment, subscribe. Let's keep improving. Keep chasing goals, crushing them, and get to another level. Until next time. Peace.